This week's episode is brought to you by Sweetwater. This month is Content Creators Month, and over at Sweetwater, they're having a sale on a ton of stuff like products that help you make podcasts like this.
You know what we are, Steve?
We are content creators.
We're who this event is for. We're content creators here hanging out, creating content. You're consuming it. You're the content consumer, but maybe you're a content creator too. And if you are, go over to Sweetwater right now. Go check out all their wares. They sent us this beautiful Roadcaster here.
Yeah, that's one of the items on there. The Isotope Spire, which I know is a favorite of yours, is on there.
Yeah, I love the Spire.
The industry standard, which we do not use because we are industry substandard here at 60 Cycle. I'm sure SM7B.
Ooh, I wish I could use a 7B.
Well, it's on sale at Sweetwater, so maybe you should get a couple.
How much is that?
I don't know, man. I'm reading the copy. I don't have it up.
7Bs are like, that's like the Earwolf microphone. They use that for Earwolf.
Yeah.
And I think Marin uses it.
Are you really talking about other podcasts? All the podcasts in the sponsor spot?
All the podcasts use the 7B. That's the big boy. That's
all right, head on over to Sweetwater. They have packages if you've ever wanted to start making content. They have packages with microphones for cameras, stuff to get you started on podcasting, all kinds of things. Here's a theme song.
That's the neat thing about the Roadcaster here is that we have this this sound bank here. I put in a custom one.
Did you play that one because you said bank?
Straight to the bank. We have an open slot here. I've been thinking it would be fun if we call out to our audience like, "Hey, send us sound effects," and we'll incorporate it into the soundboard here.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be fun? The people love it. They demand it. So yeah, send us sound effects, and if we like them, we'll put them on the soundboard.
All right, this first ad was sent by Nick Papa, and it's a rare ES330 Gibson ES330 TD, $2,500 in Solana Beach. The perfect recreation of the infamous 1959 Gibson ES330 TD from the Gibson Custom Shop. Plucked VOS finish, accurate to the smallest detail, plays perfect, sounds perfect, perhaps the finest club guitar ever made. Wipes the stage with most Les Pauls. $2,500. I do realize almost no one but deep pocket collectors.
This is where it gets interesting.
Have enough cash for a nice guitar, and those people will only pay 20 cents on the dollar and for only the best pieces, as they call guitars. The days of normal everyday people being able to afford a guitar that costs as much as a decent used car is over now. Even the serious money-men collectors have moved on to something else, as guitar collections became a symbol of excess rather than a symbol of success. There's little vanity left in the sport, and collectors found it difficult to pose as someone famous with a Les Paul and a gold record from eBay on the wall. Is that a thing?
I don't know. This guy's on some sort of rant here.
Posers and pretenders ruined the music scene with their greed and left in ruins for the likes of Lady. Oh, wow.
I know ladies in quotes.
Gaga, Debbie Gibson, Miley Cyrus, and other devil worshippers.
What's wrong with Debbie Gibson?
$2,500 is really cheap for one of these. Check eBay and Reverb to see. Too bad you're all broke, eh?
I mean, I understand. Like, yeah, Miley Cyrus is the best known Satan worshiper there is. But Debbie Gibson, Lady Gaga?
If I send this guy an offer for $1,800, do you think he'll take it? I'm like, this is not Super Rich Steve. This is real Steve.
Real Steve.
If he would take $1,800, I'm super tempted to really buy this and really smash it in his driveway. Real Steve.
And be like, this is for Debbie Gibson.
I was like mixed on this as you read it earlier. You read like what this was, and you're like, oh yeah, why does this guy hate Debbie Gibson? I didn't realize that Lady Gaga was in quotes.
Yeah. Lady Gaga is in quotes.
Lady is in quotes.
Lady is in quotes. Why? Is there any
That's
debate
a whole no. That was
whether or not she's a lady?
That was a whole thing from like maybe 10 years ago, or when she first hit. There was because she came out and she her very early success was wearing like a ton of makeup and doing like 15 costume exchanges and all this stuff, and there was like this conspiracy theory, for lack of a better word, that that Lady Gaga was actually a drag performer.
That's ridiculous. I'm just gonna.
Bye, Ryan. Nothing changed for the listener or the viewer. Ryan just can see things the way that he wants to see them now.
I just wanted to I needed to flip the screen out to make sure that it was recording because I couldn't see the little light.
It's also just funny, like you said, like.
But yeah, that's ridiculous to like. I didn't know that was a thing that people were questioning whether or not she was a lady or not. I mean, she's clearly a lady.
There's a lot of.
But is she a Gaga? Who knows? That's the conspiracy.
There's a lot of random things going on in this that are like just these odd asides. Like, was it really a thing? Like, my assumption when I watched...
I love that the guitar discussion is off the table. We don't care about the guitar anymore.
When I watched like music videos or whatever, like TV shows from like the 80s and 90s, and you go to a guy's house and he's like supposed to be some rich, successful banker, and he's got, a Gibson Jumbo or whatever guitar that he's like sitting around like drinking a whiskey and strumming the guitar and whatever. And
this is from a movie or a show?
Gold record on the wall. I never assumed like, oh, that's his gold record. I always assumed that guy's a really big fan of whoever's gold record that is.
Anytime I see a gold record on the wall in a movie or a show or something like that, I assume like they're in like a producer's house or something.
Right. I mean, I guess that's fair. Or like they're friends maybe. Like when I go to Guitar Center La Mesa and I see the POD record on the wall, like the POD platinum record that they have there.
That's where POD lives. They live in the Guitar Center.
I don't assume that Marcos from POD is one of the sales reps at Guitar Center.
I mean, he is though.
Is he?
No, I'm just joking. Yeah, I don't know what this guy's whole rant is. Like, who writes a freaking Craigslist ad and then goes on this tear that makes up like 60-70% of his whole ad? Like, he stops talking about the guitar and starts going into this rant about what rich people are or not buying as trophy things. He's like, oh, there's not and it's such a weird rant to be like, rich people aren't buying guitars as trophies anymore, or as ways to show off their wealth or whatever. What a weird rant.
Also, he's trying to sell a Gibson by trashing Debbie Gibson. I stole his joke.
Yeah, I made that joke earlier.
Ha!
Damn you, Steve.
This guitar looks, I will say, like, this guitar looks good.
Yeah.
It is in like really clean shape. It has a certificate of authenticity.
Did he say what year this is from?
No, but he does say
recreation.
That it's a rebuild.
I was it's not a rebuild, it's a recreation. I was kind of put off by the burst on it because it's kind of that modern.
Is it because it doesn't have black?
Yeah, it doesn't go black all the way around.
That's weird. That is kind of weird.
Like, you look at a proper vintage one, there's a 67 that I've pulled up, and it's got a proper burst all the way around.
Even this Harley Benton you got here has a proper burst all the way around.
But they did this on some recent Les Pauls. I want to say like 2017 or something like that.
Right.
They did it on a bunch of recent
Gibsons. I feel like that makes sense for like those Les Pauls because I don't know, when I see an ES330.
Look at that burst.
Yeah,
that's a deep burst.
That's pretty. When I see a Les Paul in like one of those finishes, I'm like, oh, they're doing something new.
Right.
I don't expect new things to happen on a P90 equipped ES330.
And even on this one,
with the trapeze,
this is a vintage one, a 1959, going for $5,700.
Yeah.
The burst is a little bit faint on the edge, but it's not at all like this where the burst disappears.
Yeah.
On the edge.
So what do you think? $2,500? Is this worth it?
I don't know what. I'm here looking around. Let's see if the price pops up on one that's similar. I'm not even seeing this version of these. Well, here's a 2016 that's got like a quilt top from Wild West Guitars. Let's see, $3,200 for a quilt top. I'm assuming it's a similar year as this one.
I just looked up VOS ES330 TD, and I had a link come up at $2,339, and that one has a proper burst.
Here's one, a vintage one, a 1961 that has less of a burst on the edges. So maybe this one is kind of throwback to this.
So this one, I think this one might be. This one has a Bigsby on it, but I think this might be the model because this is a limited. They're calling it a limited run 1961.
Huh.
So I think it's also a reissue.
Oh, okay. Yeah, if I was going to spend money on one of these, I'd want the classic burst. I mean, I like different looking stuff, but I'm just not a fan of what they did with these bursts where it doesn't continue all the way around the guitar.
Some of them do fade where it doesn't go quite all the way around. That's weird. I don't know, whatever.
I mean, I'd say it's better to burn out than fade away when it comes to these.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, this is just so weird.
Yeah.
Also, the other thing with Debbie Gibson is it's like, okay, Miley Cyrus, Lady Gaga, contemporaries, I guess. I'm not surprised that somebody
They're still like old references, though.
Right, but I'm not surprised that somebody who is lamenting the downfall of opulent men collecting guitars to decorate their home is also 10 years behind on their pop culture references.
But then Debbie Gibson,
right? That's like
that era that he's referencing is like late 80s. And could guitar have ever been stronger in the late 80s?
Right.
Like everyone had a huge neon pink boner for guitars in the late 80s.
Posers and pretenders ruined the music scene with their greed and left in the ruins for the likes of Lady Gaga, Debbie Gibson, Miley Cyrus, Debbie Harry, Tiffany, Madonna, Milli Vanilli.
Milli Vanilli. Okay. The Backstreet Boys. The Front Street Boys.
Aqua.
Aqua.
Do you remember Aqua?
I do. They're
one of the best. Los Del Rio.
There's always been pop music.
The Divinals.
And it doesn't have anything to do with the success or the demise of like hardcore guitar music or whatever. Like, genres exist side by side. Like the popularity of, friggin', Billie Eilish isn't a sign that people don't want to listen to guitar music. It's a sign that pop people are listening to something different,
The Delights.
Yes. Was that a reference to something? The Delights?
The way I've been saying these names sounds less like I'm an angry person reading an ad. I feel more like I'm doing one of those like cable channel like hits of the 80s. REO Speedwagon, Styx, classic rock now. Yeah. Kansas, Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, Jethro Tull, Black Sabbath,
Imagine Dragons. Stay tuned for the hardest rock in town.
One Republic.
One Republic.
Maroon 5.
Stay tuned to win tickets to Maroon 5.
That's where we need that friggin' rap air horn, man.
Oh, yeah, we do need the air horn.
All right.
So we just have... I think wearing headphones is going to make us want to do more voices because we can really hear ourselves.
All right, man, what's new with you?
Oh, what's new with me? What isn't new with me? I mean, I just got the Katana Matte Night 2.
How long Katana Matte Night 2?
That's right, the MK2.
Oh, there we go. I was like, where are you going with this?
Matt gets a job at Boss and he starts naming stuff after himself. Got a big old head over there, Matt. The Matte Night 2.
So how long...
Are we supposed to assume that the first version of the Boss Katana was the Matte Night 1?
How long do you think you're going to have this katana before you blow it up?
I am planning on not blowing it up. That might come as a surprise to some people. I didn't plan on blowing up the last one. It just kind of happened, and I felt really upset when I did blow it up because I legitimately loved my Katana 50. I think it's a great amplifier. The originals are still great amplifiers, and something I really like about the Mark II or the Matte II.
If you go back like 10 seconds and go frame by frame, you can see drool falling out of Ryan's mouth.
Is that they didn't reinvent the sound of the Katana for the Mark II. It still has the original Katana sounds. It sounds exactly the way I remember the 50 sounding. But then they gave you amp variations in it. And then they gave you an expanded controls for the effects and things like that. And there's a bunch of other bells and whistles under the hood. But it's like, if you own an original run Katana, you still got what the new Katanas sound like. It just doesn't have as many, bells and whistles. But I just think it's a fantastic amp for not just for the price, but just for existing. Like, I wish the Katana existed when I was learning to play guitar, because you've got, they sent me the 100, which is awesome. But the 50,
oh, that's the 100. But it's 1x12.
It's a 1x12. They do have a 2x12 version, but the Katana 50, the new version, is $230. Mm-hmm. It's 50 watts. It kicks like a mule. Like, you can play in a band with a $230 amp. Like, I paid probably $170 for that Crate 15 watt thing I had when I first started playing, and I couldn't play with an acoustic guitar with that thing. It doesn't have enough punch to it. But a $230 amp is what they cost now, the new version, and you can play with a band with it, like, no problem. It can keep up with a drummer and a bassist and stuff like that. It's amazing, and it sounds great, and it's got a bunch of effects and stuff under the hood. I'm just super impressed with it. And there's been other stuff coming out to like compete with it. Like, I did a video of the Fender Champion 50 and stuff like that. I didn't think it held up as well turned all the way up. Mm-hmm. If you want a 50 watt amp, you want to turn it up pretty loud to fight with a band, right?
Yeah. I
think the Katana beat it in that class. Maybe you like the sounds that are in the Fender Champion 50 better. It's a similar price point, similar wattage, similar concept, but the Katana just kills it on features now. Like, it's kind of like, kind of debatable whether you need all those features when I did the comparison between the first Katana, but it's like the Katana Mark II just kills the Champion 50 now.
Right.
Like, no contest in the same price point. So that's something to think about. And the 100 watt is really cool. There's a lot of other stuff I can do with it, but I'm pretty excited. I just published a thing this morning, and I'm still like high on having this amp. So, and I was playing with it earlier before you got here, and I was just thinking about how great it really does sound. Like, it is. There's a lot of amps out there that are kind of like in this, modeling bedroom volume, like beginner territory. It's got a lot of models in it, and they just sound like, not just sound, but they feel like Bluetooth speakers playing a guitar sound. The Katanas just sound and feel like a real to God, amplifier, because that's what it is. It's a real amplifier. So, am I done rambling about this now? Steve, what's new with you? Go check out my video. Go watch everyone else's videos. Check out the new Boss Katanas, because they're cool.
I ordered a wiring kit from Gunstreet Wiring Shop for the bass that's like the church house bass that I use like all the time now, is a Fender Precision Special, I think is the model. So it's the one that has a precision bass pickup in the neckish position, and a jazz bass pickup in the bridgish position. No, that one is in the bridge position. But as long as they've had it, or at least shortly after they got it, one of the pots started behaving badly. So it's like, if you turned it and you hit like the volume, like the max volume, like sometimes it would cut out, and sometimes it would give you half power, and only on the precision pickup, because it's volume tone.
Interesting.
Sometimes it would be like really buzzy, and sometimes in the middle of service, I would just like start hitting on it. I was like, I don't know what's going on. I hit it. I'm like, oh, there's the signal. It's back. And so I thought like, well, it's probably just a bad pot. But this is a Mexican Fender. So, why not just upgrade the whole freaking thing while we're at it? That just made sense to me. So I hit up Sean. I was like, I don't see this on your site, but this is what I'm working with. So what can you do for me? And he's like, oh, well, what's your preference on pot? And I'm like, I don't care, man. Like, just give me whatever you recommend. And so I'm getting the standard thing, but then he's also going to throw in I didn't want to do anything too crazy because I didn't want to have to like modify the pickguard or anything. But what he's going to do is throw in a push pull for one of the pots, and that'll do a series parallel switch. And, you know, like I said, it's the house base. So I wanted to do something where if all of a sudden there's a push pull, people aren't going to be like, as long as I leave it pushed in, like people probably aren't even going to realize it's there.
Right.
You know? So I'm super looking forward to it. Everything Sean sends that I've worked with is like a really easy install. It's like that thing, that thing should basically be 3 wires, I think, and done.
I mean, that's been my experience with Gunstreet Wiring Shop and just, you know, these drop-in harnesses in general. I mean, they do a great job, but you can, you know, I think anytime you get a pre-wired wiring harness, it just turns your Saturday afternoon project or your full Saturday project into a lunch break project. Like it goes from like a 5 or 6 hour ordeal where you're rewiring and making mistakes across 3 pots and switches and stuff like that to just dropping something in and just, you know, tightening bolts and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I'll never rewire a freaking SG ever again. Like I'm just going to buy a harness. I'm done.
Every time.
I'm done with that nonsense. I don't want to lose another Saturday too.
Yeah. No,
like
absolutely.
a 4-pot, you know, 3-way switch wiring harness redo thing. So yeah, that's cool. That's cool that you already got it in.
It actually came today, so I haven't. If I already had it actually in,
right?
You know, I would have brought it to show it off because, of course, like the packaging is fantastic. But it came today, and it was actually addressed to my wife. Since apparently my PayPal account is now in my wife's name, and I don't know why.
She knows why. She found out about all that sponsor money you're getting.
Oh my gosh. No, it is. I think because she was doing like other Poshmark stuff on it. So I think she put her name on it for some things, and somehow, or maybe I put her name on it, and then somehow that became the default. So it's weird. But yeah, Sean sent it to my wife. She opened it. She's like, I think this is for you. I'm like, yeah, this package labeled like on the outside on the address, it says Gunstreet Wiring Shop.
What art did he put on it for Melissa?
I don't know.
You haven't seen it yet because you haven't been home yet.
Well, I saw a picture of it. I just it's just the standard Gunstreet. Okay. At least on this side. I don't know what's on the other side.
Who knows? Maybe there's You'll have to there. Instagram it later.
Yep.
You want to tell us about the sponsor, Steve?
I thought we want to split this one up.
Yeah, we'll split it up. 3 different spots. We did Sweetwater, and now we're gonna do
D'Addario.
Look at these guys right here. I got this new pack of strings.
This is the D'Addario XT string. It's the newest brand of extended lifespan strings from D'Addario. So this is basically combining the NYXL, the Fusion Twist, the like that New York steel with the EXP coating, but it's not the same as EXP coating.
No.
It's like an ultra thin version.
Yeah. I haven't tried it yet because I'm holding the package in my hand. I haven't put them on anything, but I'm hoping to do it soon. I'm going to do a live video at some point here in the future where I restring as many guitars as I can in a live stream. So I'll incorporate these into it.
I will not be there.
It'll probably only be like 4 or 5 or something like that. But I'm looking forward to checking these out. I haven't played coated strings in super long.
Well, and these ones, so you know, it varies from manufacturer to manufacturer, but with the XTs, they actually have coated all the strings. So a lot of string manufacturers, when they do the coating, they only do it on the wound strings.
Yeah.
But the coating is so thin that they actually coat the unwound strings as well. And they claim, and you know, we'll see, but I'm sure it is because D'Addario makes such a great product. Is that this is basically, you know, they have a graph in here, but it's really close to being like the same. That's the poster side. It's upside down.
There's the graph right there.
It's got like this very similar frequency response as an uncoated string.
Right.
So it's not like typically coated strings have a very like mellowed out sound out of the box. And some people like it, but a lot of people hate it. And these ones are going to give you like that bright, zingy attack of a brand new string.
I just remember, decades ago or whatever, getting elixirs and putting them on a guitar, and just the heavy strings, the wound strings, feeling like they're just coated in hot glue. Mm-hmm. And then eventually like the plastic would start to flake off and stuff like that. And then the unwound strings wouldn't be coated at all, and they would get super rusty really quick.
Right.
And then everything would just sound kind of dead. I'm excited to try out a more modern, more up-to-date coated string and see what they're like. Also, they've got that carbon steel core in there, which they claim
people love
lasts super long.
People love that core, so
I'm
people love those.
Probably going to put them on my Hallmark because I tend to break strings on that. So we'll see how they hold up. And also, like, it goes long periods of time in between gigging with that guitar. So we'll see how the crust reduction goes.
It's played like once a year.
No, it gets played more than that, like three times a year.
Yikes. All right, this first topic was sent in by Simon Jeffries. He says, is there a single pedal with noise gate, compression, and EQ in one? If not, why not?
There probably is.
Yeah, it's called the Helix Stomp.
I mean, I've got my Zoom guy here. That's got all that stuff.
Can you run all? You can run all three of those at the same time in there, right?
Yeah, you can actually. Make sure I don't knock over.
To that, probably most of the pedals that are doing that are going to be some kind of multi-effect.
Right. I think the spirit of the question is, why isn't there not an analog version of that? Like something that's like a Keeley comp, a decimator, and then like a 7-band EQ all in one.
One of the Keeley workstations might basically cover all of those.
Yeah, that would be a good format for it. My initial thought on this right off the bat is like, I don't want all those things together.
Right.
Like, I want an EQ that I'm either going to put it at the beginning of my chain or at the end.
Right.
And then same thing. I mean, compressors I like to run at the beginning. So if I'm throwing the EQ at the end of my chain, then that sucks because my compressor's going to be stuck at the end. Mm-hmm. Noise gate, that's another thing. It's going to be at the beginning of the or the end,
or like maybe right in the middle, right after your drives,
right after your drives, before your time effects and stuff like that. Yeah, that's where you want a noise gate sometimes. Yeah, I think that's the biggest problem, is that mixing them all together, you're mixing positions in your signal flow in a way that might not be ideal for most people.
Yeah. I could see that being useful for
now if it had a loop,
like an acoustic guitarist.
Yeah, if it had looping built into the pedal, like two effects loops coming out of it, so you could put it
right
on your board, but then have it actually be in 3 different places in the signal chain. Then I could see it all working. But I mean, you're hyper designing something here.
Yeah, I thought when you were first going to talk about looping, I thought you were going to talk about live looping.
No, which sucks. The Gear Some podcast, Aaron over there has been talking about that, about how
a lot.
He won't shut up about it.
Jeez, man, let it go.
Obsessed with it. But I agree with him. I think that this whole thing of like songs that are built around looping kind of suck. Like, and I get it for like an impromptu like live performance sort of thing. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I don't ever want to hear a recording of that. Like, I don't want to hear a recording where it takes 1.5 minutes to get to the song because the person's building a loop, That's my criticism of it.
I feel like most of the
we just topic changed.
I feel like most of the time you see a recording of that, it's a recording of somebody doing it live.
Exactly. It's a live thing. It's like,
anyway,
I say if you're going to loop to build a song, do your beatbox, drop a bass line, maybe a little strummy thing. It should take you 20, 30 seconds at most, and then just go simple. Don't freaking take 1.5 minutes.
Do you remember
to build an intro to your song, and then like your whole song sounds the same because you don't have bridge or chorus parts and stuff like that. It's just like this big droning.
You can still turn them off. Anyway, yeah, noise gate, compressor,
it's one of those
EQ.
things where once you've seen it, you've seen them all.
Sure.
That's what I'll say about live looping songs.
I like live looping songs where they play a bunch of different instruments. Those are still interesting to me.
I guess.
When the guy's like, I'm gonna tap on the bridge and I'm gonna do it all on the guitar. Yeah, I agree. Like once you've seen it,
I'd rather watch a one man band where he's doing it live. You know,
potato.
Yeah. Let's call the whole thing off. All right. Yeah. So those three effects together at the same time. I don't know.
At least they're all, I would say these are all they're all utility pedals. So at least they're related that way. You know, I know EHX did a bunch of pedals over the last like 5 or 6 years that were just kind of combining like their two popular pedals, and you know, with mixed results, because it's like, let's combine the Holy Grail with a Big Muff.
You know what would be interesting?
Let's combine a Holy Grail with whatever like their high gain distortion is.
You know what would be interesting? A multi-effect pedal.
Okay.
That uses the 7-band slider format.
Uh-huh.
So you can be one of those things at a time, not all of them at a time.
Okay.
And then the sliders have different functions. So you have a 7-control pedal with sliders. It can be a graphic EQ, which would be great. It can be like an EQ compressor, like a graphic compressor, or it can be a noise gate where you can gate different frequencies across the EQ or something like that. Like, I think there's an idea cooking there.
I think if you send this idea to who would build this? If you sent this to,
it seems kind of like a Moore thing.
I just wanted to do that.
Good job, Steve.
Thanks.
Is this annoying yet? Is the soundboard annoying yet?
It's a meme. Is this annoying? This next ad was sent.
Wait.
What?
Plans have changed. We were going to do a call-in. And I thought the person said that he could not do the call-in. And I thought he said, oh, damn, I can't. And then he never got back to me. Uh-huh. But what he said is, oh, damn, I can't wait.
Oh, my gosh, you're so stupid.
So I'm going to go get the adapter.
Oh, my gosh.
So we can make this phone call. I'll be right back.
I'm going to take a moment here to talk about the fact that literally, I don't know, 8 hours ago, Ryan had this idea. Hey, let's have a guest on, especially because it's Content Creators Month at Sweetwater. And so let's really, talk about what the Rodecaster is capable of. Let's use it to its full capabilities, which is why we're hitting you with all of these annoying sound effects. And he's like, dude, we should get a guest on for an ad. And I don't even know if we put this guitar that we want to talk about in the drive, but whatever. And then he's like, oh yeah, he can't do it. Guest can't do it. And it's like, okay, bummer, we'll just do everything else. Turns out Ryan just can't read, which really shouldn't be that surprising because, I've known him for like 15 years. And so I've always known that Ryan is barely literate. But here we are. It's, 30 minutes into the episode. Ryan doesn't even bother hitting pause. He just walks away. It leaves me on the hook. It's like his wife is having a baby all over again. And here I am. So, do you have the pictures for this ad?
Yeah,
Are they on here? Man, I was so jazzed to talk about this too. But I guess we'll just change it up, crossing that out.
We'll do the other one next week.
All right, fine.
I'm going to send him a text, and then I'm going to call him.
You should just call.
I'll just call.
What did he do? He just texted you and was like, when are you going to call me?
Yeah, he's like, did you guys record or not?
Oh my gosh.
Contacts. All right, I'm calling.
That's the name. I was trying to figure out why it was MT.
Yeah. It's Mike Adams, by the way.
Well, hello there, Ryan.
Hey, Mike. I completely...
Is that my old pal Ryan on the phone? I can't hear too good.
Can you hear us?
Well, yeah, I can hear you. I can surely hear you.
Oh my goodness.
Clear as the voice of the Lord himself.
What does that mean?
Yeah, I'll be in character through the whole thing, I guess.
Yeah. So I realized when you texted me that I completely read your last text wrong.
Oh.
And I thought you were saying that you couldn't do the phone call. And so ever since then,
one word too early.
Yeah, I dropped off the last word. Because you said I can't wait.
Sorry.
And I was like, I read it as like, oh no, I can't wait. And then I thought you were going to say something more and tell me why you couldn't do it.
You read it as I can't.
There, friend.
You read it as I can't wait.
Yeah.
Dot.
Yeah. Dot.
And then you just waited 8 hours.
I know. It's
what are you,
stupid.
William Shatner? Oh damn! I can't wait. Like, come on.
So, anyways,
stuff.
This ad popped up locally here today. It's in Oceanside, which is kind of in between all of us. It's like a midpoint.
Oh yeah. Lovely city.
It's in your wheelhouse. It is a vintage 1966 Fender Jaguar for $3,500. And I sent you the ad. I was like, you want to talk about this? So go ahead and take the wheel. You get to run the show now. Because
Oh, do I?
You're the one who knows everything about this. Like, is this a good deal? Is this a desirable model?
Well, yeah, I would say that for a 66 Jaguar of this condition, it does look to have been played, but it's also in good shape. The finish is bright and clean. All three tones of the sunburst are still present. It's got the late 60s meatball guard, which is a little bit more maroon and solid looking.
Is that like a standard thing to call it, the meatball guard?
That's like a thing that we industry types like to say. You know, you got to be in the know. I mean, you can always spot a faker from a mile away, but
yeah,
you know,
we
say that in the world.
You don't have that meatball guard. It's not real unless it's got that meat.
Get that meatball guard. And then there are like some other guards in the earlier 60s that turned really bright red, and we call them tomato soup.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we're all very hungry, guitar people, if you didn't know.
Yeah, well, you're spending all your money on offsets is the problem.
Yeah, can't eat. Oh, you know what I'm just realizing is that in the shots that have the mute installed, the mute is backward.
Yeah.
Which is fun. So that's fun. But otherwise, no, this looks to be a really, really well-kept example of the 66 Jag. It's got bound neck, dots. I believe the neck has been plecked as well, so it should play pretty damn well.
Yeah, the guy's got all these photos of it being plecked, and like, isn't that kind of pricey? I mean, I feel maybe I'm just ignorant here, but I feel like the price is pretty low on this thing, isn't it?
It's pretty decent. I think whether or not you would want to pay, mid $3,000 for a 66 is kind of up to the player.
Uh-huh.
Personally, I have never really gotten on with the necks of that era because the binding sort of changes the shape for me, and I'm very sensitive to that. I'm a very sensitive neck boy. So that's me, but that is a personal preference thing. It's not to say that these aren't great guitars, because they damn well are. And this thing, it comes with a master bridge. It's got the original bridge and mute. It looks like all of the parts are accounted for, although I'm not sure the trem arm is
It doesn't have the trem arm.
Oh.
All
right, I'll pay $100 for it.
Button. I don't know. I feel like that's $800 off. I don't know. I don't know there, bud.
Here's my question.
Send him an email and say, hey,
like
give me that trim arm.
The binding on the side, like you can see up by the nut slot, it looks like it shrunk, and then there's what looks to be like cracking up and down the sides of the binding.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think about all that?
So it is entirely common for old binding to shrink. The plastic that was used in the era. It off gases, it shrinks as it ages. And you see this a lot on Gretsch's, actually. Gretsch guitars always have to have the binding replaced after a certain number of years because it will off gas and shrink and sometimes destroy the finish, which really sucks. This So I'm not entirely surprised to see that that's happening here. That's happened on literally every bound Jaguar I've ever personally owned. Not a big deal. The bit of wood that is pulling away with the binding is a little concerning, but I don't think it's a structural issue. That's just, if the glue that was good enough, that was used, if it held on enough, then the binding may have pulled the wood away a little bit. It only looks to be in that area of the neck. Everything else seems pretty standard.
Yeah.
You can see out by the nut, the binding has certainly shrunk away from the headstock, right around the fretboard veneer.
Yeah.
I would say that's more of a cosmetic thing. And maybe that's why the price is as reasonable. I'm sure that, like, if you saw this same guitar in reverb, someone would be asking like 38 to 42. I could see them going for that much. But this is a pretty good price. It's a pretty cool guitar. It's all there. It's got the original stuff.
Don't have that arm,
those
though.
Pickups are dope. No arm. Oh, sorry. Can't do it. No, that's pretty dope.
It's a regular Lieutenant Dan over here. Oh, that's his legs, though.
Yikes.
That is. Yep.
Yeah.
Wow. Welcome to the Gumpcast, your source for Forrest Gump theories and fan fiction.
Who's someone that doesn't have an arm?
The drummer from Def Leppard.
There you go. It's the Def Leppard.
How did you go from Forrest Gump to Def Leppard?
I was just trying to think of
both are.
The guy
both titles have two words.
The guy that killed Harrison Ford's wife. He only had one arm.
I'm just jumping to amputees here. That's all I'm doing because it's missing an arm.
Cyborg from Teen Titans only has one arm.
I haven't seen that.
Well, I mean, he has two arms, but one of them is a robot arm.
Yeah, I feel like that's better than having two arms.
Hey, you lost me at Teen Titans. I don't know.
All right, so we had this conversation at work the other day, and if you had to lose one limb, which limb would it be?
Oh, God.
We'll save that for next week.
Do I have to answer this?
We'll save that for next week, Steve, when we're sponsored by Manscaped.
What?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's fun. You could lose your beard. That's the same thing. It's equivalent.
Oh, I thought I was going for a dick joke there, but okay.
That's not a
like
limb.
Referencing your. No, how are you talking about your downstairs area on the podcast this week? That seems totes inappropriate, man.
Right,
I don't know.
Steve, what do you think about this guitar?
I like it. It's real pretty.
It
The binding pull on that one side of the neck is kind of disconcerting. I was looking at it, and it actually looks like it runs from about the 9th fret all the way down to the body.
Yeah, it's like the whole neck length, really.
But even with that, it's like,
oh yeah.
Even if that all fell off, it's not like you couldn't play it. It's not like it would be rendered unplayable.
I don't think it's going to fall off, but I wonder what the texture of that is like.
I don't think I'd ever put any of my hand there anyway.
Yeah, Steve doesn't touch any necks of guitars.
Not like I would. Do you run your hand along on the near side?
Yeah, my thumb.
I guess maybe if you have
thumb boys unite.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know how to play guitar. I play bass, so I barely do that.
Here's my ultimate question. I mean, Mike peer pressured me into buying my '80s Jaguar a month or so ago. If you knew, Mike, that I had the money sitting around for this, would you be peer pressuring me to go buy this?
Probably. It's really nice. Yeah, it looks like a pretty good deal to me. And well, let's compare to Reverb. What could we expect for a '66 Jag on Reverb?
I couldn't find one.
.com. Let's see here. Let me just type in letter by letter with one hand.
I like that we've got you doing research for us.
No, I'm your man on the inside.
Yeah.
You need insider trading. You need tips on the market. I'm your boy.
You're our oracle.
Yeah,
there are people in the world asking $4,500 for Sunburst '66 Jaguars, and I say to them, no, I have had enough. No, sir. No, shops. A lot of shops seem to be hovering between 32 and 4 for like good examples.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's pretty reasonable, especially with the damage on the neck.
Well, if they're
Whatever,
going
go for
between,
it. It's dope as hell.
if they're going between 32 and 4, then I'm going to show up to this and be like, oh, I don't know, that binding. All I brought is $3,000. That's what I would do. And then the person would be like, I'll do 32. And then I'd be like, deal. And I'd magically have all that money in my pocket, just ready to go.
And here's the thing is that you would take it all out so that he could clearly see that you had $4,000 and you count out what you're taking back.
Oh, I was going to buy groceries on the way home.
At a restaurant.
Exactly.
I'm looking around.
You didn't refill my Coke. You just lost $1.
Oh my gosh.
I'm looking around the room right now, and I'm like, oh, okay, if you sold that one and that one and that one, but I'm only getting to like $500.
Yeah, I would have to hustle pretty hard to get 3,200, let alone 3,500. I mean, that's $300 more.
Ryan, you own like 60 guitars, and you've got clout. You've got name recognition.
They're only worth $25 a piece.
Yeah, I'm gonna show up to this Craigslist ad and be like, "Oh, do you know who I am?" How would you?
No, I bet you could get a hundo clean for that Harley Benton you're painting stripes all over.
Yeah, I don't know, because that thing's 115 new, and I've trashed that thing. I should see how much I can get for it, though. I should try to do like a charity auction just to see what it'll fetch.
I think you'll lower the profile of whatever charity you're trying to support.
People are like, oh yeah, we don't really want to donate to anything with like orphans anymore, since that's what you're doing.
You show up with a check and they're like, oh yeah, no, we closed. You ruined it. It's not fun anymore.
It's not fun anymore. All right, Mike. Well, thanks for being our call-in expert. We have a rig now that lets us make phone calls. So,
oh my God!
Congratulations. We'll have to do this again anytime there's offset-related query.
Anytime, day or night.
Yeah. Do you want to sign off with a character voice?
I'm on the spot. Bye.
Bye, Mike. That was fun.
Yeah, that was a blast.
Yeah, thanks, freaking Roadcaster over here.
Yeah, we just reactivated. Well, I didn't react. I extended the life of the 60 cycle hum phone.
Oh yeah, the phone number.
Phone number, which is I believe 619-363-HUMM.
We'll flash it up here.
So give us a call.
It's a voicemail.
Yeah, it's Google Voice.
And I'd be able to play it off the phone here, so we could play voicemails from people. That's a smart thing.
And we can, you got a topic, call in. If we like it, we'll play your message and answer your question.
I like that.
Yeah. And if we hate it, we'll play it and then we'll make fun of you.
We'll definitely make fun of you.
All right, this next sponsor is Chase Bliss Audio. Chase Bliss Audio, they make pedals more creative than you are. If you are in the market for a delay, a reverb, a chorus, a drive pedal, a tone shaper, a tremolo.
What about a granular looper?
Ooh, granular looper?
I'm talking about the mood.
Not a flanger.
They don't make flangés anymore. Stop asking. They're teasing that blooper. They've been running a Kickstarter for it, and last time I saw a post about it, it had raised like $200 trillion or something like that.
It's a ridiculous number. It's like way more than what they were going for.
Yeah, the goal was like $15, and now they've got $200 trillion. So they're gonna make a lot of bloopers.
They're basically gonna fix the world's economy.
It's gonna be a blooper based economy, is what we're looking at coming down the pike here.
Yeah.
I mean, we're gonna be like, oh yeah, I want to buy that house. It's 14 bloopers, please. Or I want to buy that head of cabbage. That's 10 bloopers, please. Everything's gonna be really cheap or really expensive.
Wait, you can buy a head of cabbage for 10 bloopers and a house for 14 bloopers.
Yes. It's going to be a weird economy. but it's going to work, and the world is going to get better because of it.
Oh, okay, great. So if you're looking
Everyone will be able to afford houses. Not many people will be able to afford cabbage.
If you're looking for a pedal that has a great basic classic tone to it, but also has a ton of options to do a lot of different things, head on over to chaseblissaudio.com, see what they have to offer. We're talking about pedals with a digital brain
and an analog heart.
Aww. This next topic was sent by Chris Reynolds. It's actually a YouTube video that we didn't watch. And it's the kind of story we need right now. Woman scares off wild cougar with Metallica song. Speaking of wild cougars, one of the guys at my work is using the Hinge dating app, and he is 28 years old. And I believe he has his age range set from like 21 to 35 or something. An appropriate range for a 28-year-old. And at the end of each week, they send you like the best match in your area or whatever. And he consistently gets like women in their late 40s and early 50s.
Well, he needs to figure that out. That's his best match. He needs to follow his bliss there.
But apparently, if he listens to Metallica, it will scare off a wild
cougar. It'll scare them
cougar.
away. Yeah. It'll scare them away. They'll be like, Metallica? Oh, where's my Debbie Gibson? That's a callback right there.
All right, man. So if we both live on canyons.
Do you ever get cougar sightings in your part of the woods?
We get one like once every 5 years or 10 years, maybe.
We've been getting them consistently. They had to shoot a cougar down here in the springtime because it was chasing kids on bikes.
Oh, dude, it straight up ate a kid.
Did it eat a kid?
It didn't eat a kid, but it attacked a kid. They put a kid in a hospital.
It put a kid in the hospital with its mouth hug.
Yeah.
It gave the kid a mouth hug.
Or paw hug.
Yeah, paw hug. So...
It did not eat a kid, but that was the one they euthanized. They hunted it down.
Yeah, yeah.
And they said that like they made it sound like basically the rangers went to the area where the attack was, and the cougar like presented itself. It wasn't like it was like it knew like, oh, I'm not going to hide. It's time for the showdown.
Right. It's like
it did not play out well for the mountain lion.
It wandered out of the Old West saloon. It's like, I knew you'd be coming for me.
Wah, wah, wah.
Poor cougar. It was probably sick.
I know. I think they did like the autopsy and stuff, and they couldn't. I don't think they actually determined anything.
Turned out it was just evil all along. So anyway,
it is a cat. So
what kind of music would you use to scare away wildlife or other attackers?
I would scare off anyone who any creature, any godly creature that attacked me. I would scare off with Lady Gaga, Debbie Gibson, or Miley Cyrus.
It's clearly worshippers of Satan themselves.
Yes. Keep those devil worshippers on hand in case you're ever attacked by a wild Christian animal.
Wild Christian animal. Are cougars Christians?
I don't know. Apparently,
they probably are.
Cougars are scared of Metallica. Apparently, I don't know. Like, I wonder. Like, was the animal actually scared of Metallica, or was it just because it was a loud sound? Because, like, big cats are like they say, like, oh, if big cats approaches you, like, just make a lot of noise.
Well, no animal likes loud human noises.
Right.
They typically, except for raccoons and possums, and skunks, they all tend to just get gone. Like, skunks are fearless. Skunks will walk right up to you because they don't G and F. They don't GAF at all.
They don't yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think anything that any animals, so like I guess it would be big cats, maybe like coyotes, wolves, that approach you, maybe some AC/DC, some of that really shrill, like kind of a sound.
Who's that singer that hits the super high notes?
Vitas.
I'd play some freaking Vitas.
Oh my gosh, are you gonna play some Vitas right now?
Let's see if I can. They're all super long.
All right. Anyway, I'm trying to think any other animals. I feel like
There it is. I feel like
That just sounds like an Ebo.
It does sound like an Ebo. He is the Ebo of singers. I feel like instead of playing someone else's music, I'd want to just like haul out the acoustic 150 and a Strat and just turn everything Bill and Ted style.
My gosh.
And just like, get out of here, critters. And just thump out some reverb.
You could like probably put out a forest fire.
That way. Suck all the air out of the forest.
That thing moves some.
Yeah, it does.
Move some air, man.
Or bust out the electric kazoo and plug it into the amp and get the animals moving. What do you think, Steve?
Dude, electric kazoo would be ridiculous.
If you play electric kazoo, you put your arms out and all the birds come to you and land on your arms. It's like a Tarzan thing. An elephant runs out of the forest and like picks you up with its trunk and puts you on its back. It's like, yes, lead me. I will fight for you.
The song I'm thinking of is Dragula, Rob Zombie.
That's just going to make the Cougar dance, man. That's a jam. It's got that groove.
It's like so heavy though.
It's got that heavy groove though.
I know. But I think I think a lot of animals would think there's going to be an earthquake.
That Robert Zombie.
The Robert Zombie.
You know,
Sir Robert of Zombie.
You think he's making metal? That's a funk boy right there. He's making funk.
You're not wrong.
I'm not wrong about that Robert Zombie. Bob Zombie.
Bert Zombie.
If I ever meet him, I'm gonna call him Bob Zombie.
Bobby Zombie.
Bobby Zombie.
Hey, aren't you Bobby Zombie?
I heard about you. You're Bobby Zombie.
Bobby Zombie.
And then he would rip off my jaw and drink the blood pouring out of my face.
I actually hear he's a really nice guy.
He's probably a really nice guy.
Which would probably make you the douche for making a joke at his expense.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you are the douche.
The whole premise of the joke is that some people named Robert are called Bob, and his name is Rob, which probably means his first name is Robert. And I'm just calling him Bob Zombie because it sounds funny. There's not much of a joke there.
What if his name isn't Robert? What if it's like, I don't know what else Rob would
be. Trick? Rob Trick?
Rob Trick? Rob Drick?
Robertson?
Robespierre. Robespierre.
Rob, what's your real name? I feel like this topic has landed flat already.
Yeah, it was not very...
This is not a good topic. And I blame our audience. They didn't give us very many topics to talk about.
Thanks for nothing.
In the topic call out this week.
But also
Facebook
thanks for this. We got a little housekeeping. Thanks, Chad Hansen, for supporting the show at the $2 level. I had this thought I'll have to hit you with later about a thing that we could do for people at the $2 and above level, but not the $1 level. But I want to do it off air.
We're just talking about those $2.
Yeah, but like how to get those in.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks, Chad Hansen. If you want to support the show, head on over to patreon.com/60cyclehumcast. Any support that you can give from $1 to $100 helps make this show possible, helps build sets like this.
Yeah.
Helps send us on trips. Someday I might get to go on a trip.
It puts microphones in our tummies. It puts strings over our heads. It puts pickups on the feet of our children.
Yep.
Yeah. So thanks to everyone who supports us on Patreon for any amount of time at any dollar level. We appreciate all of you.
This last ad is sent by Damian Michael. It's a crazy deal for South Florida friends. It's a Ibanez Session Man 2, $25.
I don't know.
He says if anyone is willing to pick this up for me, I will pay $50 for it.
I don't know what the Session Man does. I don't know what it sounds like. I don't know if it's one of the good ones or the bad ones, but damn it, it's $25. It's pink and it's orange. Go get it. That's my take on this ad.
These are like 100. No, that's for the SS. Oh, for this one, the SS20 is $110 on Reverb.
I see it's got a distortion and a distortion tone knob on here and a D time. It's a distortion and a delay. Why wouldn't you want this for $25? Go get this.
Yep. I'm seeing, let's see, I'm looking for sold ones.
This is like the sort of thing where if like it popped up in San Diego, I'd be like out the door, emailing while on the road, heading to the ATM.
Yep. Sold ones are also going for over $100.
Nice.
You ready to get out of here, man?
Yeah.
This song is sent by the artist formerly known as Spicy Nugs. That's Jonathan Diaz from the Effects Loop podcast.
Plug in and play it, man.
This is called May Contain Great Information. Let's see if I can download this song.
We didn't plan on that, so yeah, let's see how fast the download goes.
It's an 8.2 megabyte download. This is significant.
It's ripping.
I'm not on Wi-Fi because it was going real slow for me earlier.
I'm watching the little thing go. It's going fast. Now we can sit here and listen to the song in real time. We don't know how loud it's going to get.
I turned it all the way
There we
up.
go. All right. Bye, everybody. Stay grounded.
Penis bones are rare in the fossil
I forgot about this.
The researchers have found 5 of them in the Madrid basin. What it says is that size matters to ancient bears, but I still think they're doing okay. Male polar bears are the biggest bears on Earth today, but their penis bone only averages about 7.3 inches. But that's okay, 'cause they've got me beat by about 4 inches. I'm just kidding, it's 5. There's a lot we can learn about the band of penis bone, but humans don't have bones in theirs. But guess who does? Chimpanzees and gorillas got bones in their dicks too. The largest one that we know of is a walrus. He can reach up to 30 inches. Bear dicks, bear dicks, bear dicks. 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 Bear dicks, yeah.
Is that it? That was beautiful. of all the songs that we could listen to live for the first time. All right. Bye, everybody.